time here. Thank you so much. So let's start. Ну, камеру можна і повернути. So let's start our job now. And if you don't mind, I would like, according to rules of our conference, to put some time limit, okay, for our presentations. It will be up to 10 minutes for speech, for presentation, and up to 5 minutes for questions and answers, okay? Let's keep this time limit because we have our schedule also in this conference. I want you to get pleasure not from work, but from some other events maybe today, okay? So, thank you so much. Let's start our job. First, I want to invite for presentation. We will start from section 4, which is in our program. I want to invite Katerina Golubchak with her presentation, the phenomenon of creative economy in Ukraine and defining its place in the architectural space. Yes, please. This is.
I want to welcome everyone and to wish you a good time at our conference and efficient time. Let me introduce myself. My name is Katerina Golubchak. I'm the Associate Professor of Architecture and Urban Planning Department at Ivano-Frankivsk National Technical University of Oil and Gas. And I would like to present you my my presentation on the phenomena of creative economy in Ukraine and defining its place in the architectural space. Modern functioning of the world economic system is characterized by the dominance of knowledge, creativity, innovations, and intellectual labor. With the rise of creative economy, please, the next one. With the rise of creative economy and informational technologies over the past 2 decades, the need for people to communicate, collaborate, co-create, inspire, and learn from each other became increasingly important, as well as the need in proper architectural and design strategies of spaces providing these opportunities might be relevant as ever before. This is proved by the rapid rise of the number of creative spaces across the globe. However, profound knowledge and academic research on the influence of economy and innovations on the architecture of such spaces are still limited. Thus, filling the gap, this study at the intersection of architecture and economy aims to shed light on the concept of creativity, creative class, and creative industries in Ukraine, as well as the current state of national creative economy, to highlight the term of creative environments and architectural peculiarities of creative spaces, which form the main elements of creative cities, and to identify the opportunities of transforming Ukraine into a prosperous creative economy country. Hautamaki Antti, in his research, investigates creative economy and culture as the key points of innovation policy and comes to the conclusion that innovations flourish in special interactive environments called innovation ecosystems, which include a number of factors providing a good soil for idea generation and their realization in the form of products, services, and new paradigms. The main components of the creative economy are creative industries based on creativity. In the context of globalization, creativity has become a powerful source of competitive advantage and a driving force for progress. The assessment of creativity in Ukraine is of great importance for current study, but unfortunately the lack of statistical data and official reports for Ukraine substantially limits further research in this field. Thus, we need to take into consideration a number of reports developed by famous world organizations like the British Council, the World Bank Group, UNESCO, and many others. According to the Global Creativity Index, Ukraine ranks the 45th place among 139 countries. And the similar result can be seen in the Global Innovation Index developed by the Cornell University. At the request of the Kiev Smart City Initiative, the Analytical Center SEDOS has developed a methodology for measuring the index of cultural and creative capacity of Ukrainian cities. The survey covered 5 major cities in Ukraine, but this methodology can be successfully applied to other cities in Ukraine. The indicators used to measure the urban cultural and creative capacity were grouped into 3 sub-indexes: cultural life, creative economy, and favorable conditions for development of creative economy. The report, Developing Cultural and Creative Industries in Ukraine, developed with the assistance of European Eastern Partnership Culture and Creativity Program, analyzes the current state of creative industries in Ukraine, finds the main challenges and opportunities, and finally draws recommendations and further steps to be done. Thus, among the main opportunities, we can see the raising possibilities for governments to invest into a creative sphere, emergence of platforms that promote creativity and creative hubs throughout the country, development of new fundraising initiatives for supporting creative entrepreneurship, and popularization of Made in UA movement. Though among the main challenges is the fact that creative industries are still not recognized as the priority field of countries' overall development, and this leads to lack of support and proper business models for creative entrepreneurship, weak legal framework for creative business promotion, low attractiveness for investments, and low international mobility, which prevents long-term international partnerships. Over the past few years, more and more innovation spaces were designed to inspire people from diverse cultures and fields of expertise to interact with each other and to produce innovations. The first who recognized the significance of such spaces were such global companies like Google, Twitter, and Facebook, who provided their offices and campuses with creative, inspiring environment for their employees. And only recently, different governmental structures at all levels, educational establishments have started providing such spaces for the general public. Thus, idea generation needs a combination of skills, knowledge, talented individuals, and above all, a good, inspiring, creative environment. Currently, one of the most powerful guarantees for flourishing yes, I forgot to tell about the modern architecture, which is defined not only by some geometrical forms and dimensions, not only by building materials or constructions, but first of all by emotional context. Similarly, like the architecture of churches and religious centers inspire people for praying, offices designed for efficient work. In the same way, creative spaces, hubs, are designed to stimulate idea generation, to promote innovative thinking and collaboration. One of the most powerful guarantees for flourishing of creative economy in Ukraine is the formation of a well-developed network of creative spaces and good infrastructure. Currently, a good network of creative spaces in their wide typology already exists in Ukraine. There are many good examples of successful projects, including Creative Quarter in Kyiv, Art Factory platform in Kyiv. Please, next. Yes. Futura Hub in Lviv, and Innovation Center Promprylad Renovation in Ivano-Frankivsk. These are the best examples. Especially developed network of creative centers are observed in the major cities of the country. However, not all of them are designed properly and therefore do not provide full implementation of their functions. Special focus should be made on their architectural, spatial, and functional arrangements. As for the location of such spaces in the structure of the city, there are no clear restrictions. Creative spaces can make important contribution to the development of community, creative business, and urban renovation. Creative hubs are able to revitalize undeveloped city quarters, and it is a perfect investment to bring in new life into abandoned buildings and non-used industrial spaces. In this context, it should be mentioned about the popular trend, reconstruction or adaptive reuse. For example, the Innovation Center Promprylad Renovation in Ivano-Frankivsk, created at the base of the former plant, provides a wide range of opportunities in 4 different sectors: contemporary art, informal education, new economy, and urban planning. The first reconstruction phase of the building was finished last year, and the renovated third floor now includes a wide range of amenities like a co-working zone, space for workshops, educational and children's attraction, offices of innovative organizations, and many others. The rest parts of the former plant are expected to be renovated in the next few years. The project is an example of impact investing and open to partnerships. Investors invest in social initiatives, become co-owners of the plant, and receive dividends. Being a powerful creative platform for collaboration between community, business, and local government, the project is expected to produce a wide range of positive impacts on local and regional development. Therefore, this positive experience may become a successful model for implementation in other territories of Ukraine with unfavorable starting conditions. Another points which should be taken into account are developing the educational facilities which promote development of creativity and innovations, and formation of strong financial background for investment possibilities into research, science fields, and educational sectors. Creating strong links among universities, creative enterprises, and business plays a catalytic role in the development of creative economy. Thus, the formation of creative hubs in the structure of universities is one of the first steps to be done. In Ukraine, some positive movements can be seen in this sphere. For example, due to the Creative Spark program founded by the British Council, Ivano-Frankivsk National Technical University of Oil and Gas have started providing a number of trainings and courses on creative entrepreneurship. And this is a good starting point in creating a positive ecosystem for preparing professionals for the creative industry. Also, another positive point which should be mentioned is the fact that last year students of architectural faculty were involved in designing a creative hub on the base of the former dining room in Ivano-Frankivsk National Technical University of Oil and Gas. The aim of the project was to provide a multifunctional co-working space for students and for a wide range of creative initiatives and social learning. And now the project is in the initial stage of the implementation. Thus, today, the creative economy is a strong strategy for social development based on continuous human-based innovations provided by intellectual capital, creative potential, and talent. And in the context of European integration, the development of creative industries can provide enhancement competitiveness of Ukraine's economy and ensure a long-term economic growth. We can formulate a number of recommendations on developing creative economy sector in Ukraine. First, raising importance of creative economy and value of creativity among society. Thank you. Formation of favorable ecosystem and business conditions for creative startups, establishments of necessary infrastructure and creative hubs, promotion of creativity as well as entrepreneurial skills in educational system, providing international cooperation and trade for spreading Ukrainian brand and talent worldwide, and improvement of national statistics for further analysis and prognosis in this area. The current research shows that creative spaces which have been dynamically appearing throughout the country in the last few years can provide huge positive impact on like new jobs creation, innovative products and services, rising level of education, supporting talented people, urban regeneration, and promotion of Ukraine on international level. Thank you for the attention. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you for interesting presentation. Please, colleagues, do you have any questions to our speaker? Yes, please.
Measure results of your activities?
My own activity?
Not your own activities. Reach a goal.
We can provide a number of activities. For example, like those that were mentioned in conclusion, starting from providing educational courses on entrepreneurship, which have been already existing in our university, and creating a hub in our university for students. Somewhat?
Numerical indicators.
No. But I hope that in future this will be included in our further research on this area, because this is really highly developed subject, and I hope that this is not the final research. It is only the first one. Thank you.
Any questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
So next, I would like to invite Ludmila Bezugla with presentation attracting foreign direct investment as an economical challenge for Ukraine in the context of globalization.
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ludmila Bezugla. I am from Dnipro State Agrarian and Economic University. I'm an assistant of professor, and I work at marketing department. Let's start. The paper aims of studying and analyzing current trends of foreign investment in the state economy, outlining the problems of attracting investment, development methods of solution. The volume of investment in the economy of the country is a source of increase of its economic potential of social development. Investments determine the competitive positions of the manufacturing enterprises in the market, and from the production potential on the new scientific and technical base, facilitate the intensification of the investment process, allow for intensification of entrepreneurial activity, create additional jobs, and sometimes the whole production sectors of the national economy, facilitate into international markets. In modern conditions, the Ukrainian economy demonstrates weak economic dynamics of development, which is caused by low level of trust in the system of public administration, corruption, a weak financial discipline, and excessive debt burden. Ukraine lost its rightful place in the world economy. It's possible to improve the situation by attracting foreign direct investment, where the investment attractiveness of the state of foreign investors is one of the key indicators. We believe that Ukraine can attract investors at the expense of its adventurous geographical location, a potential large market, high qualification of the labor force, and relative cheapness, low exchange rate of the national currency, opportunity to repatriate profits. Taking into account the European choice of Ukraine and the current state of development of the economy, your study aims of relative trends in the volumes and structure of foreign direct investment in the Ukrainian economy, identified problems and development ways to increase the activity of investment process. Ukraine's economic development potential centers around such provision. The most effective way to compensate for the lack of domestic research is to attract foreign investment. Experts from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development characterize the Ukraine system of attracting foreign investment as overly complex and constantly changing. Research material shows that Ukraine has improved its position over the year. In 2017, it occupied the 8th place in the rating, and in 2018, the 76th position. The study found the countries that rank to the top 10 of doing business receive 15 times more foreign direct investments than those occupied the last position. We will conduct a competitive analysis of Ukraine rating position in the terms of international trade, protection of monetary investors, solving insolvency problems. Ukraine ranked 115 in terms of international trade, yielding Poland 1 position, Belarus 30 position, and Moldova 34 position. Consider the dynamic of injection of foreign direct investment into the Ukrainian economy. Research materials indicate that in 2015, the Ukrainian economy attracted foreign direct investment totaling $2,961 million. In 2016, it's $3,284 million, which is 11% more compared to the corresponding period of 2015. In 2017, the volume of foreign direct investment in the Ukraine economy amounted to $2,202 million, which is 1,082 million less compared to 2016. However, in 2018, there was a tendency to increase the volume of foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is mostly from the European Union countries. Thus, in 2017, alone, Ukraine received $1,244 million. In 2017, the main investor countries that invest in the Ukraine economy were Cyprus, the Netherlands, Germany, Russian Federation, and Great Britain. As the investor of their own risk and description determines to the expenditure of placing funds in business of certain countries of the world. At the same time, investors take into account the investment climate of the state in which they plan to invest. The index of investment attractiveness is an indicator. It should be noted that with the first half of 2018, the investment attractiveness index of Ukraine was 3.1 points. In order to objectively assess the efficiency of investment process in Ukraine, we observe the interconnection and interdependence between investments and indicators that characterize the level of social economic development. The gross domestic product is the general indicator collection of the state of development of the country economy. In the current situation, the economy of the country requires a quick return on investment as never before. The factor contributing on the increase of the investment attractiveness index of Ukraine are norm. Its establishment, the gross domestic product, is a general indicator that reflects the state of development of the country economy. The forecasting of the studied macroeconomic indicators is carried out with the help of economic mathematics modeling. Let's outline the problem in attracting foreign investments, which need to be resolved. First of all, it's put in place legislation that will protect the rights of private investors. Second, it's improved tax regulation and create infrastructure for foreign entrepreneurship, develop a financial market. And improvement to the investment climate in Ukraine can be achieved at the expenses of, next, is improving state regulation, creates the necessary condition of attraction of foreign investments, protection of property rights of foreign investors, and rational combination of the investments of the state, foreign investors, and domestic commodity producers, and permanent dialogue with the government on problematic issues of attracting foreign investments into the state economy. Thanks.
Thank you for your presentation. Please, colleagues, do you have any questions for our speaker? No questions. Everything is understandable. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So next, I would like to invite Olena Odnikova with presentation formation of innovative models of urban planning system development by ensuring the competitiveness of construction enterprises.
Thank you. Good day. My name is Yelena. I'm from Beketov National University of Urban Economy in Kharkiv. And I want to present to you our work about connection between urban planning and between construction enterprises and competitive of construction enterprises. So the next, please. In the conditions of reforming the system of public administration and administrative territorial structure and implementation of innovation approaches to decentralization processes to ensure social and economic development, process of smart management of cities and territories become especially relevant. The development of the information-oriented society and the increasing demands for quality services to the population are challenging scientists to find innovation models of urban and territorial development. Given the needs for infrastructure modernization, reconstruction, and upgrading, finding ways to more effective realization the socioeconomic potential of cities and territories, construction is an important element of urban planning system. The next, please. The field of construction is developing practically without regional competitions. Powerful construction companies that have covered most of the construction markets in individual regions do not have the motivation to increase their own competitiveness, because in the context of the distribution of economic impacts of the construction market, construction enterprises do not have the task of expanding markets to the other region or to the European Union markets. Therefore, the lack of preconditions for ensuring the competitiveness of construction enterprises is a negative factor in providing the population of cities and territories with quality, reliable, and economically justified construction products, which significantly impedes the process of urban development and the entry of domestic enterprises into European markets. The next one. Among the specific features of the construction process itself are the following factors. First, construction process is a long production cycle and therefore has high financial risk. Property being erected is static, so the movement is foreseen around by workers, mechanisms, machines, etc. Production process of construction products involves the interaction of a wide range of stakeholders like construction subcontractors, investors, local authorities, etc. Construction process involves a number of preparatory work, such as the equipping of a construction site and development of general plans. Process of construction of a real estate object must be accompanied by process of infrastructure development of the object, depending on the sale of construction and pre-development plans. And etc. The next. Most scientists divide the factors of influence on the competitiveness of the construction industry on the external and internal. We propose to regulate the structure of competitive factors not only in oriental to the internal or external system for the construction company, but also in terms of functional features of the construction enterprise's development. The result of this analysis we can see on the presentation. Thus, having identified the main factors for the competitiveness of construction enterprises, the impact of the transformation of the formation of urban system development model can be analyzed in our work. The model of the correlation between improving the model of the correlation between improving the competitiveness of construction enterprises and ensuring the development of urban system developed by the authors is presented in this slide. The next, analyzing the interdependence of urban planning decision and their impact on the competitiveness of construction enterprises, as well as by analyzing feedback, it is reasonable to apply simulation modeling. It would be logical to analyze the relationships between indicators that characterize fixed assets and investment flow in the development of urban planning system. We offer the following model for assessing the interdependence of these indicators. In this model, it is necessary to take into account the timing of fixed assets disposal. There are two assumptions. First, fixed assets can be taken out of products in the same year as the fixed assets introduced into products. Second, the disposal of fixed assets is calculated exactly taking into account depreciation. The model considers both as template. The next one, you can see conclusions of our research. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for presentation. Please, colleagues, do you have any questions for our speaker, please?
As well,
This model in our article. So this only the formula of this model. We mean that we can some indicators that can grow the competitiveness of building structure. This is the indicators like some parameters which in our articles. This is social infrastructure for which building enterprises must create near the territory where they build their objects, like hospitals, educational objects, etc. So this model includes this object, and we understand in the competitiveness of building enterprises not only like a lot of materials or operation process and like a system complex of these parameters.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's technical mistake.
I was
sorry.
going to ask the same
Yeah.
because it is not logical.
Sorry,
in this
it's
place.
technical
Yes.
mistake.
Thank you for your question also. Any questions else? No, thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation. Thank you. So, I would like to invite Natalia Korsh with presentation Creating an Innovative Environment for Industrial Companies, Internationalization, yes, in Ukraine, Prospects and Risks. Introduce, if it is not Natalia Korsh, please introduce yourself.
First, sorry. Good evening, dear colleagues. Nice to meet you here. My name is Irina Semenyuk. I'm a senior lecturer of Management and Administration Department of Vinnytsia Institute of Trade and Economics of Kyiv National University of Trade of Economics. And I would like to present to you my report on the topic creating an innovative environment for industrial companies internationalization in Ukraine, prospects and risks. So, of course, it's known that according to the export strategy of Ukraine, the main and strategic goal is the large-scale growth of presence of Ukraine in the foreign markets. But in the context of growing international competition, there is a clear independence between the innovative development and the increase in foreign trade activity of the company. The emergence of new business models influenced by the digital revolution is another challenge for Ukrainian companies, which requires the introduction of new approaches to managing human capital, data, and processes. Next, please. So the innovative environment is very important because it creates favorable conditions for the development of foreign economic activity of industrial producers, provided competitive advantages in foreign markets. As you see, main elements of the innovative environments are innovation ecosystem, human capital, level of scientific research, and level of introduction of new technologies. Okay, let's start from innovation ecosystem. Well-developed innovation ecosystem would allow Ukrainian industrial companies to mobilize all the necessary resources required for the production and export of innovative products. On the slide, you can see this model of innovation ecosystem as an element of the innovative environment. This model represents a group of actors, subjects of actors. Such subjects are interesting in producing of innovative products. The interaction based on close relationships, and they participate in the creation of an innovative platform. As you see, such actors may be government, industrial companies, investor, local authorities, non-governmental organizations, universities, research organizations, international organizations, foreign companies. But there is a problem that for the functioning of such proposed model, it's necessary to create effective communication channels between such actors. And unfortunately, producers of industrial products do not see benefits in partnership with research organization and university, and very often they prefer to import innovative products from developed countries. Next, please. So, of course, human capital is one of the most important elements of an innovative environment. According to the World Bank, in 2018, Ukraine took the 5th place among 157 countries in the human capital ranking. If we take into account that the average human capital index of European countries and countries of Central Asia is about 0.7, the position of Ukraine with an indicator of 0.65 is very good. Based on official statistics, it also can be argued that the average population of Ukraine decreased by 1.6% in 2018 compared with 2014. This in turn led to decrease in the working age population by almost 9%, and as well as decrease in college graduates almost by 30% and universities graduates by 11.8%. Also during 2014-2018 years, there was also a reduction in the number of people employed in industry by 17%. It's evidence that it is a lack of qualified personnel to meet the needs of industrial companies. Of course, the cuts in state budgetary expenses for education and graduates with specialization according to educational sectors will also solve this problem. Not solve this problem. For example, in 2018. Almost 28% of colleges graduates receives education in the fields of healthcare, 20% in the field of pedagogy, 17% in the field of management and administration, and only 4% in the field of engineering. Okay, next. Sorry. Previous. Okay, sorry. So I want to notice also that according to the state statistics, service of Ukraine during 2015-2018, the state share of labor migrants in total population age from 15 to 70 was 4.5% or 1.3 million people. Most of all, was outflow of migrant workers with vocational education. So, of course, next. Of course, production and export of innovative industrial products are impossible without providing an appropriate level of scientific research. On this slide, you can see main indicators of the results of scientific activities in Ukraine during 2014-2018 years. As you see, the number of organizations engaged in research and development decreased by 4% over 5 years. The percent of research and development performers in the total number of employed population and percent of scientific publication co-authored with foreign scientists in journals indexed by the International Scientific Database Scopus also decreased by 0.15% and 1.4% respectively. But the number of cited scientific publication of Ukrainian scientists in journal indexed by the International Scientific Database Scopus increased almost by 30%. And it's a good fact. Okay, next. Also would like to notice that another important indicator of the level of scientific research is the index of public-private publication by million people. Such indicator reflects the degree of interaction and cooperation between research organizations and industrial companies. As for Ukraine, in 2018, this indicator was 4.1, while in 2014 it was only 1. But such result is the lowest among European countries. For example, index of public-private publication by million population for Denmark in 2018 was 215.1, for Czech Republic 73, for Estonia 63.8, Poland 23.1, and Bulgaria. So you can see, please. Next. But also I want to say that there are some positive facts. According to the result of studies presented in the report by specialists of Ukrainian Innovation Park Unit City, 124,000 patents for innovation and utility models were registered in Ukraine during 10 years, 2007 and 2017, and it's one of the highest rates in the world. And also, I would like to say that over the last 5 years, Ukraine has been actively integrated into the European research space. Now, 189 Ukrainian organizations are participating in 139 projects of the Horizon 2020 program. As a result, 22 million euros were attracted to these projects. Okay. So on this slide, also you can see the results of the new technologies introduced by Ukrainian industrial company during 2014 and 2018 years. Of course, Ukrainian industrial companies demonstrated better indexes of innovation activities in 2018 than 2014, but such results are not sufficient to accelerate the process of internationalization. The main reason is that the share of the volume of sold innovative products in the total volume of sold products of industrial companies has decreased significantly. Sorry. Next, please. It will be maybe the last slide. Yes, here you can see the SWOT analysis of prospects and risks of creating and developing an innovative environment for internationalization of Ukrainian industrial companies. Of course, we have strengths, weakness, prospects, and risk. And I would like to say, finally, that creating an innovative environment for industrial companies, internationalization in Ukraine has more prospects than risks, and it's very good. And but first of all, there is a problem of eliminating the weaknesses presented in SWOT analysis. So, as a conclusion, yes, the following measures are required. Content monitoring of the results of innovative activity at the state level, improvement of legislation in the field of regulation of innovative activity in Ukraine, creation of innovative infrastructure through the effective implementation of innovative development strategy of Ukraine, reform of the education system, development of programs for earmarked financing of innovation in industry, creation of innovation platform based on interaction government science business, and of course strengthen cooperation with international organizations to promote the innovative activities of industrial companies of Ukraine. Okay, so thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentations. Please, colleagues, your questions to our speaker. No questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Presentation. And next, I would like to invite Oleg Dzyoba with presentation Labor Motivation of Financial Inspectors of Agricultural Enterprises. This is our director of our institute, I tell you.
Good day, dear
advanced.
colleagues, friends, scientists. I would like to present you our collective result of research obtained in Institute of Economics and Management of Ivano-Frankivsk Technical University of Oil and Gas. I'd like to say that the sphere of our scientific interest is not only oil and gas industry. Development of the socially oriented market economy of Ukraine, effectivization of reforms in this area, and improvement of people's living standards are not possible without forming a high level of labor motivation of financial inspectors, particularly of agricultural enterprises. However, the absence of qualitative change after the partition of land and property of economics entities of agrarian sectors of economy negatively affected both their profitability and motivation of agrarian labor. Taking into account the relevance of the above-mentioned problem and the fact that it has not been deeply studied or solved, the main objective of the research is to characterize the labor motivation of financial inspectors of the agricultural enterprises and to develop measures of promotion it. Figure 1 shows that the efficiency of labor motivation of financial inspectors of agricultural enterprises depends both on the adapted incentive model and on profitability of respective economy entity, which distributes individual motivation models in the structure. For example, the material model is most common in average and highly profitable farms, whereas the social psychological model prevails in enterprises with average or low profitability, and the complex model, which involves a combination of two models described above, is typical of economically powerful, socially secured and stable working farms. Next, please. In 2017, we conducted a sociological survey of 465 employees of agricultural enterprises of Kyiv region. The result in table 1 shows us that in total, the existence of wage level does not satisfy the needs of almost 31% of all financial inspectors of agricultural enterprises. That is, the amount of earning does not satisfy the needs of more than every fourth employee. The current situation results from the fact that the wage level in the agricultural sectors is lower than in other sectors. Next, please. The majority of the responsible agrarian of Kyiv region pointed out that after the partition of land and farms property, the organization of production and their labor motivation did not change for the better. This is also confirmed by the results of our research. The evaluation of presents attitude to labor after the partition of land and farms property and definition of described in their opinion ways of using units. See table 2. It leads to the reduction of people understanding of direction connection between their earning and the quality and quantity results of their work, which negatively affects the peasants' attitude to work. In addition, in Kyiv region, a lot of farms are dissatisfied with the existing mechanism of using lands shared. Table 3. Thus, the majority of shadows of farms is the previously mentioned district of Kyiv region desire to sell the land as soon as appropriate mechanism for handing agricultural land is legal approved. More than 32% of the interviewed peasants. The way financial inspectors of agricultural enterprises treat their work is based on the use of socio-psychological model of motivation mechanism. Next, please. It consists in meeting the needs of this category of employees in terms of fashioning a proper social status, career, ensuring professional development, self-actualization in work, and other components. However, despite all the described positive measures, the number of those dissatisfied with social and psychological incentive is quite high, which confirmed by the result of our research. On average, more than 1 out of every 6 works is dissatisfied with their social status of current performer employee. 90% of respondents with little chance for professional development and self-realization. Differential of attitude to labor in their condition of the function of complex component of labor motivation model results from the specific character of individual economic interest activity and the organization skills of their managers. At the same time, we have determined an unfair approach to its formation and application of macro and micro levels. The results in Table 5 show us that the rational combination of material and social psychological incentives is foundation of their mechanism, where the first group of incentive is the basic and second one is the derivative. The conduction of our research are present in slide 8. Thank you for attention.
Thank you for your presentations. Please, questions to our speaker, colleagues. No questions? Okay, thank you, Oleg Grigorovich. Next, we will start from the section 3. And I don't know, maybe it's also not this speaker. I want you to correct me. Olena Ugodnikova, and presentation State Management, Strategic Principles of Tourism Industry Development. Please.
Thank you. Let me give you a report about tourism industry, about growing of tourism industry, and about state management and public administration in our country in tourism industries. Next, please. The tourism industry is an industry multiplayer. Considering the tourism development facilities, it should be noted that tourism activity gives a significant financial return with minimal initial investments. Statistics show that for each unit that we investment as an investors in this industry, the profit will be 4 units. In addition to the fact that tourism is one of the most profitability sector of the economy with low barriers to entry, it is worth noting that the development of tourism's contribution to the development of related sector of the economy like hospitality business, agricultural business, building, development, transport, communication, etc. So international tourism arrivals grew by 7% in 2017 to 1.323 million. International tourism generated $1.6 trillion in export earning. By 2030, international tourism arrivals to reach 1.8 billion. Thus, the tourism industry has considerable potential of further development, showing steady trends in the growth of major financial and economics indicators and growth of the world tourism flows, which can ensure the development of the global economic system and the achievement of the global goal of sustainable human development. Next, please. Since 2010, the tourism industry has been growing steadily and is breaking its own growth record almost every year. Thus, in 2014, the numbers of outbound tourists, like foreign tourists, amounted to 1.15 billion people. In the next year, this figure increased by more than 4% and it 1.2 billion people. As the trend continued in 2016 and 2017. 2017 is record-breaking growth at 7%, which equal 1.32 billion people traveling abroad. It has been a record growth for the industry over the past 8 years. Today, the numbers of inbound tourism area by region is unstable because of a number of political, economic, and social factors. There is a change of the number of tourism attracted in the regions. The highest growth rates in 2015-2016 were in Europe, South and North America, the Pacific region, and the Middle East. Due to a number of internal and external factors in 2017-2018, the numbers of tourists was accepted by African countries. The countries of the European Union continue to lead the number of tourists. Next, the situation in Ukraine. World trends in tourism development are also relevant. The figure of foreigners number who visited Ukraine for tourist purpose is shown in the presentation. The next one. For comparative analysis, it is advisable to present the dynamics of tourist flow in Ukraine with the definition of exit and entry flows and balances. The diagrams of the presentation show that the number of tourists traveling abroad from Ukraine is higher than the number of tourists entering. Therefore, it is necessary to consider the possibility of increasing the efficiency of public management in the field of tourism in order to increase the volume of tourist flows. Next. According to the law of Ukrainian tourism, the state proclaims tourism as one of the priority directions of economics and cultural development and creates conditions for tourism activity. According to the legislation, implementation of public management in the field of tourism can be carried out by the implementation of the following series of managerial functions, the purpose of which is to create the proper condition for the strategic development, like in the table of the presentation. Thank you. To predict the strategic development of the tourist industry within transformation of the public administration system, it is suggested to apply the game theory. In the methods, we have tourism organization, TO, and public sector government representative, RA. We assume that TO has n numbers of development options and RA has Y numbers of options for making managerial decisions. The various sections of the tourism organization are decided TO1, TO2, and TON. And in the decision of public administration P1, P2, PY. The result represented by the taking choice of particular game participant in enter as Y joy. Since this theory we consider random options, then the result will be a random variable. A variable of the results is characteristic by mathematical expansion, which is calculated at the average value. The mathematical expansion of this game theory application in presentation. The next one. The gifts of material decision loss in the selection the most efficient alternative. In this case, the game theory allowed analyzing decision making both at the level of the tourism organization and at the level of the government for tourism industry. The matrix is filled by statistic data on predefined parameters. The most fully characterize the tourism business development and the impact of managerial decision on this industry. To calculate evaluate the predicted parameters, a system of inequalities and complied based on the results of analysis of matrix, where time parameters, financial or any other parameters. Data analysis allow for forecasting the impact of managerial decision making in the public administration system of the strategic development of the tourism industry. And the conclusion you can see on the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentations. Sorry, please, questions, dear colleagues. I have one question, if you let me
Yeah.
let me ask. Yes, did you make such investigation? Which region of Ukraine is much more suitable for implementation this your approach, or it is possible to? Mhm,
It
understood,
is
because
this
some regions are not so much attractive from touristic view,
but
I mean this.
it is average in Ukraine, but I agree with you that some regions of Ukraine is more touristic and some no, but I say about political, economic, and other factors. This in general.
In general, thank you. Any questions more? No. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
presentation. Two times you get our today. You are lucky today. So next presentation, one of our participants asked to give this presentation right now. Please, Natalia Gavkalova. Yes. No. Yes. Yulia Lots. Okay, please, Lola, please. Influence of the countries countries information level as its economic development.
I need my presentation.
Нет, accept. Okay, let's until this we have a little technical problem. Please, please. I cannot see, it is dark. Olena Panuchnik. I'm sorry, excuse me. Development of regional economic systems under the impact of financial decentralization, display challenges and new opportunities. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the participants of the conference, first of all, on behalf of the team of authors, two slides, who represent Lviv and Ternopil, let me express our sincere gratitude to the organizational committee of the conference for the invitation to participate in it. We offer your attention the report, Development of Regional Economic System under the Impact of Financial Decentralization, Display, Challenges, and New Opportunities. Please, next slide. So, financial decentralization reform is one of important reforms in many countries, including the developing ones, due to the fact that by its nature, it is designated to secure the redistribution of revenue sources and liabilities among the levels of authorities. The final goal of financial decentralization reform is illustrated in slide 4. Usually, the defined goal is achieved by accomplishment of the range of tasks, the most essential of which are the following ones: forming balanced local budgets, increasing own financial capacity of administrative and territorial units at the basic level, clear distribution of liabilities on the subsidiarity level, improvement of the efficiency of use of financial resources, and stimulation of community sustainable development. Manifestation of various forms of financial decentralization can be observed almost in all economic systems without exceptions. You can see them described in slide 6. For Ukraine, the orientation on European vector of regional economic systems development confirmed by ratification of European Ukraine Association Agreement means that emphasis will shift to inclusiveness, innovations, smart specialization, and most important, development of regions' economic capacity based on financial decentralization. The goal of the article, the object of research, and its practical importance are featured in slide 8. Our research develops theoretical and empirical approaches of foreign scientists whose main opinions are presented in slide 9. Recently, a new approach to the development of economic systems on the principles of inclusive growth has been gaining increasing relevance. It stipulates equal opportunities for all population groups in education, healthcare, security, etc., and fair distribution of benefits in society, which should in its turn promote the growth of well-being of population. China, Indonesia, Japan, Spain are the examples of solution of budget federalism problems. You can see the review of conclusions provided by the research in slide 11. Despite substantial developments in global science regarding this matter, the issue of extension of local government's financial autonomy, establishing the relation between financial decentralization and development of regional economic systems in Ukraine, and finding out its impact on the quality and efficiency of budget policy have not been widely discussed and are empirically under-examined. Therefore, they need additional study. Scientific hypotheses about the influence of financial decentralization on the growth of regional economic systems in Ukraine, but the defined directions are verified based on the panel data models generally presented as formulas 1 and 2 given in slide 13. The sequence of estimation of financial decentralization's impact on the development of regions based on the models with fixed and variable effects is illustrated in slide 14. Modeling was carried out based on the formed panel data through all Ukrainian regions, excluding the occupied territories of Donetsk and Luhansk regions for the period of 2017-2018. The logarithmic model of multiple linear regression applied in our research is presented and described in slide 15. Model parameters were estimated by the method of least squares. The analytical display of the model by the direction of revenues decentralization and the results of calculations by this direction are presented in slide 16. We should note that the received results agree with general tendencies in Ukraine. Indeed, the first stage of financial decentralization reform in Ukraine reveals the substantial growth of revenues to local budgets, as it is shown in figure 2, slide 17. According to the results of the impact of financial decentralization on the development of regional economic systems by the chosen directions, shown in table 2, slide 18, we should recognize that local budgets' own revenues have unfortunately failed to reach the level of European countries. However, growing financial resources of local budgets provided the regions with an opportunity to direct funds to the development of their territories and to increase the volumes of capital investments. Excessive transfer dependence still remains in the system of regional local finances, despite the growing recent financial decentralization processes. It is confirmed by the growth of local budgets revenues in Ukrainian regions, which is secured by transfers for more than a half. Distribution of basic government grants among the administrative territorial units also testifies to the growth of transfer dependence as it is seen in figure 3, slide 19. Statistical models of influence that enable the prognosticate the values of dependent variables for the selected independent variables can be presented in the way depicted in table 3, slide 20. The main conclusions of our research are presented in slide 21, the most important of which underlines that further financial decentralization reform in Ukraine requires to direct its results into sustainable development of territories to avoid disruption and disintegration of economic and social space. Thanks a lot for your attention. If you have some question.
Thank you for interesting presentation. Yes, please, colleagues, questions to our speaker.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Uliana Berezhnitska with the presentation Innovative Model of SME Development.
36. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm very glad to see such distinguished audience. So, my name is Uliana Berezhnitska, and today I will present our report toward to innovative model of SME development. I represent Applied Economy Department, so let's start. This report provides an insight into the characteristics and advantages of small and medium entrepreneurship as an innovative sector of development. The article analyzes the SME activity in Ukraine and reveals the position of our country compared to other EU countries, Poland, for instance, in terms of level of SME development and business conditions for it. The results are presented in the innovative model SME development, which includes the specific characteristics of SMEs and factors of influence, as well as a performance of positive effect of SME functioning. And we recommend to take into account that innovative model and distinctive features of SMEs in activity toward to SME. So, among former socialist countries, Ukraine remains a state with many problems of market economy forming. The most important progressive and fully innovative institute of development of market economy is a small and medium entrepreneurship, which is a separate small sector of national economy. This sector provides the socialization of economy and has significant innovative potential and a great intellectual potential. Many scientists have investigated the programs of SME. I can point Сергій Дрига, Ігор Мансуров, Захарій Варналій, Тарас Васильцев, Андрій Бутенко, Валерій Геєць, Сергій Соболь, Лігоненко, Ксенія Ляпіна, Дмитро Ляпін, Колісніченко, and many others. The investigation of distinctive features of small and medium enterprises are designed in innovative model with and that will allow us to identify ways of innovative modeling development of the market economy. We all understand that SME development is needed, but the question why is needed not raised in today's practical scientific fields. Thus, the purpose of this study is to determine the specific features of SMEs in innovative model of SME development. And comprehensive approach to building that innovative model will help us to identify the ways and directions in SME support policy. The definition of SME is important, firstly, to access to finance and support programs targeted specifically at these enterprises. I must say that definition of SME in Ukraine is set out in Commercial Code of Ukraine and is mostly identical as your Commission defines. The dynamic of SME development indicators in Ukraine analyzed since 2013 to last years. The number of SMEs was growing to 2015, but 2017 in last 3 years, the indicator was tended to decline, mainly due to unstable political and economic conditions. In Poland, SME makes up more than 99.8% of total number of enterprises. The share of SME sector in Germany is 99.51% in total quantity of business, and SME in Ukraine counts 99.98% of total quantity of enterprises. Volume of sales trends to increased figure 3. The structure of SMEs by type of economic activity is represented in figure 4. I must say that in Poland, service companies predominate, more than 50%, followed by trade, 24.9%. In the same time, the largest number of SME in Ukraine are involved in trade, 26.4%. So the next step of our investigation was modeling of SME development. And in the innovative model of SME development, we can see external and internal factors, distinguished features of SME, and impact of SME activity. In this model of SME development, we placed on specific distinctive features and importance of SME for economy and society, such as innovativeness and development potential, mobility and flexibility, fast decision-making, revenue generation, employment risk-taking, financial independence, innovative, fostering to a competitive economy, key role in forming the middle-class society, focus on quality and personalization, social responsibility and formalization of civil society, local focus and prevalence. As a conclusion, we want to emphasize that SME is an institute for development of innovation market economy that additionally provides solution to a number of social problems. In particular, SME plays to a buzzer all of a level, and solution of other different problems. The separate proper policy, the SME support must needed, as SME are quite sensitive to any changes. However, due to the considerable potential for this development, for such distinctive features, SME are able to provide positive economic and social impact to the local level, firstly, and as well as the state. A clear understanding of specific features of this small sector of economy give us an opportunity to identify the SME needs and priority areas of SME support policy and to ensure the innovative development and growth of national economy. Thank you for your attention, and sorry for my English.
No, English is excellent. Thank you for your presentations. Any questions, please? For our eight. Down.
We call innovative because we thought that the complex and such approach to modeling this SME development for us was innovative because we combine all sectors as factors for influence and distinctive features and impact. So we just thought like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you very much.
Any questions else? No. Thank you. Finally, we found our presentations. Yes, Yulia Lola. Presentation is influence of the country's information level on its economic development.
So I am pleased to greet all of you here in this wonderful place. I am Yulia Lola, Associate Professor of Public Administration Department, Simon Kuznets, Kharkov National University of Economics. And I would like to present you our scientific work, influence of the country's information level on its economic development. The research analysis of information technologies influence on the society structure challenges us to formulate new hypotheses and enlarge the research sphere. Hypothesis 1. Information development of the society favors improvement of country's economic attractiveness. And hypothesis 2, intensity of information development influence on economic level of countries is heterogeneous and can increase or decrease in various country groups. In order to study the influence of the information and communication development of the country on the economic situation, the following algorithm of the research has been proposed. Stage 1, selection of the initial variables, research of the basic statistical characteristics of the select variables, verification of the first hypothesis on the basis of correlation and regression analysis method. And stage 4, verification of the second hypothesis on the basis of the correlation, regression, and cluster analysis method for the whole array of initial data and within the score of separate group of countries, which are similar according to the level of economic and information development. For implementation of the first stage of the algorithm, the following variables were selected: Information and Communication Technology Development Index, Doing Business, and Global Competitiveness Index. Today I was impressed that my colleagues also select this global index because there are a lot of indexes. The ICT reflects the level of networked infrastructure and access to ICTs, the level of use of ICTs in the society, and more efficient and effective ICT use. The object of the research are 113 countries. The variables are the data for 2017. The countries without sufficient data were excluded from the database. The method of multivariate statistical analysis were used. This statistical method was implemented with the StatSoft software package Statistica. A pair correlation coefficient among the Global Competitiveness Index, Doing Business, and ICT variables has been calculated. There is quite a close direct linear connection between Global Competitiveness Index, Doing Business, and ICT. To study the effect of ICT on global competitiveness and doing business, we construct a complex regression. The data of regression equations are statistically significant on the whole by Fisher students criteria. The coefficient of multiple correlation and the determination are high. These coefficients are high and prove high quality of the model. There is no autocorrelation of mistakes. So we draw a conclusion that the given model can be used for analysis. Realization of the first stage presupposes verification of the second hypothesis that states intensity of information development effect on economic development of countries is heterogeneous and can increase or decrease in various countries group. The following stage are proposed to verify this hypothesis. Stage 1, countries disposal into homogeneous group by values of indices, 3 indices, based on cluster analysis method, construction of complex regression for each of this cluster, and make conclusion. The following result of clusterization have been obtained based on clusterization iteration k-mean methods. Previous slide, please. The first cluster include 41 countries with a low level of economic and information development. The second cluster include 38 countries with average level of economic and information development, and this Ukraine is included in this cluster. And the third cluster includes 34 countries with the highest level of economic and information development. As we can see for table 5, next slide, please. A higher value of intercept A10 is a characteristic for cluster 1 by global competitiveness index in comparison with the whole set of data. It's a little lower of the value of the slope angle A11 of the regression line. The situation is similar with doing business index. The change speed of doing business index under the influence of ICT is the lowest for countries from cluster 2 and the highest for countries with a low level of economic development. But the starting condition, that's the coefficient value A to 0, are much higher for cluster 2 and 3. The correlation and our conclusions. The correlation and regression analysis has shown a close connection among these indices. Further research of this connection in groups of countries identified by ICT level has indicated that the largest connection is seen in countries with a high ICT level. That increase in its level gives the fastest and the biggest effect in highly developed countries. It's interesting that such effect is the most slowed in the group of countries with a middle ICT, global competitiveness, and doing business level. It gives gives ground to confirm and a large conclusion of Schlichter concerning the increase in social and economic gap among countries due to development of information technologies. Thank you for attention.
Thank you. Presentation. Please, questions, colleagues? No. No. Are you sure? No questions. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So for today, our speakers list is finished. Maybe some of present here scientists want to, let's say, make presentation today. Maybe I missed somebody from our list or not. No, any other presentations? Okay. So thank you so much for your nice job today, for our hard working. So tomorrow we will continue our section works, and today we have possibility to have a little rest. Yes, a little rest at 7 o'clock. You know, we will have corporative dinner in this room. Right now you have possibility to change your image, or I don't know, have a little fresh air. Thank you so much for your participation and for your activity. Thank you.
Thank you, our speaker, Irina.